Okay, so I just want to do a quick little talk about how it is funny that a lot of people complain that there is not enough music out there, or yeah, not enough diversity in music. But it also depends on how you're measuring that. If you're going by terrestrial radio, over 90% of those radio stations are owned by how many? One, two, only three companies. And yeah, they go by a set playlist. They're getting paid by the record labels to continue the same playlist hour by hour. And okay, for example, Bain Capital owns Clear Channel Communications, such as stations like in New York Z100, KTU, sports stations, talk radio. It's like, you know, Clear Channel. Oak Tree Capital Management. They own Town Square Media, and another company called Cumulus Media. These three companies own over like 90% of the terrestrial radio stations that are out there, and have literally control over the playlist that you hear on the radio. Um, People also have to understand, in order to hear different music, you have to support indie artists. If you want something outside of the stuff you're getting force fed, um, go to local concerts, support local musicians. That's another thing too. I'm a musician myself, and I hear this from a lot of my other musicians in New York City, is that everyone is so quick to go and pay all this money to go see a big band or a big artist, but then complain about paying $10 to go see an indie artist, a local band or a local artist. Makes no sense. Uh, Also, uh, it also lies in the support too of buying merchandise and buying, their tickets to their show. Um, that helps. That helps. That helps push out the music more. That helps expand their coverage of that band or artist. And also, most importantly, other than going to the shows and buying their albums and their shirts and stickers and all of that, also the support is on indie radio stations for these artists. Also as well as some of these mainstream internet radio stations that they have now, not radio stations, but radio streaming services like Spotify, Pandora, Tidal. You can also show your support for local artists that actually are on those services by definitely liking their song on the service, because I know each service has like a button where you could either like the song or put it on a playlist or like the artist or something like that. It's good to do those things too, because that helps circulate them more into the playlist for other people. Uh, but also more importantly is the indie internet radio services that are out there, like SoundCloud, which is really cool because SoundCloud, as an artist, like when you're entering a song in on SoundCloud, you can put like a lot of other artists in as reference. So, you could be like listening to like a stream of songs, and then it'll just like connect you to another song, another song, another song. Also, like when you make playlists, when you go through your playlist and it gets to the last song, it'll just jump to something that's related to all the other songs, or type of feel or genre, or it'll link up to other artists like that artist that you're listening to. The same thing with Bandcamp, also, and Bandcamp is great for indie artists, and that needs to get a lot of support from a lot of people because Bandcamp is something that anything that is bought off of Bandcamp, off a musician's or a full band's page, 100% of that money goes directly to the artist, which is really cool. And I'm not sure if it's 100%. I forgot. I gotta look at it, but I know it's damn near close. Um, and also, they have a streaming service, also a streaming app, just like SoundCloud, and it goes the same way. Like you'll be listening to stuff, and also these apps have things where something will pop up on the screen of that app while you're listening to a certain a track or something, and it'll suggest you to other artists that are like that artist that you're listening to. And also with that service too, it has the same feature like the mainstream services, just like SoundCloud also, where you can like the artist, you could like the song, you could put that song on a playlist, which is very important for indie artists because you're helping um, put more music out there like that you want to hear. Um, and you're giving the opportunity for that artist to actually, get to a bigger audience, and also pull in other artists that are doing the same thing. Um, there's a way to get around a lot of these things these days, and the internet definitely opens up these opportunities, and having these different apps helps a lot. Like I said, download SoundCloud, download Bandcamp music app. It's very easy to do. Um, and also Bandcamp is like really cool too because a lot of artists, they'll put up their whole album up there for you to buy, and it's just like a regular playback list. Also that you could use. You don't always have to be connected to the internet to listen to these albums that you buy from them, which I find really cool. That's the only thing I kind of have issues with SoundCloud because sometimes it'll only load up but so much. Um, it, if you don't have internet access, with SoundCloud, it's better to have internet access for it to play fully through your playlist. That's the only thing that I have issues with SoundCloud, but Bandcamp I really like because it could play as a standalone player without internet connection. But yeah, like I said, you know, also another thing that helps, even though this company is part of a big corporation, YouTube. YouTube is a great way to help local artists also. When a local artist comes out with a music video on there, or they just have like the track of the song and they just have pictures, going through the video or whatever of that, during that track, it's good to go and support them by liking their video, or subscribing to their channel, and also posting that video or that song or whatever onto your Facebook. That helps a lot too. And and I want to touch on the Facebook thing too. Um, that that also goes with SoundCloud, Bandcamp, or whatever this music. These different musicians that you do like that are indie artists. Um, you have to also try to help and spread the word. If you can't go and turn around and say, "Man, they don't make this type of music anymore." Oh, man, it's so sad. It's because it was not enough people to support that. You have to support something to continue it, to help it blossom, to help it create more avenues of, listening experience. Um, I also, yeah, that's a big thing too. If you like a local artist, share their work. That's it. Or if you're going down to a show or something and you think they're really cool, and you want to let like one of your friends find out, invite your friend, tell them to come down. I've done that many times for artists where like local artists I think is like really cool, and I tell a lot of friends, and I get like a group of friends to come down to a show with me to see them. Um, and that's basically it. I just want to just speak about this because I just find it funny and frustrating at the same time when people complain about that. Why is there no good music out there? Good music is out there, but you're not looking hard enough. Going to the basics of radio, regular radio, and turning on Z100 and complaining makes no sense because these popular companies are only owned by the three major uh, radio companies. You're not going to get diversity. You're going to get the same thing. It's just like when you go and you see these award shows and it's the same like 10 tired people getting the same award and it gets old. It's not even 10, it's literally like, I don't know, 5 to 6 of the same people you see on the award show. Always. Don't you get sick of that? Don't you say, wow, I know so many local artists that are way better than X, Y, and Z? I say that all the time. And I'm not even gonna name names because there's one, oh man, I don't even know understand. I really don't understand this one on how this one gets so much recognition and praise, and I just don't get it. I'm not even gonna mention this person's name, but yeah, I just don't get it. But in order to help push diversity and actually get a lot of these indie artists out there to the public is to support them on indie sources, meaning on indie radio, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and there's other ones also. There's so many like indie websites and indie um, podcasts. You know, it's really cool because it's like one of my friends runs a podcast called Fish Fantasy. Check him out, Fish Fantasy. Really cool. And what he does, like he'll interview different indie artists, and he'll do the interview. He'll do like a live recording of them doing a song, and he'll stream like indie artists mixed with like other alternative artists that aren't really fully mainstream, which is like really cool. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there, indie podcasts, along with these indie friendly streaming services, like I said, SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Um, but yeah, like I said, support your local artists. If you want to continue to see growth, you want to continue seeing a scene, you want to continue hearing something different than the mainstream. And this possible support can actually push these artists to be recognized so we don't see the same tired artists getting these awards. I mean, at this point, I kind of feel like these award shows and different things like that, it doesn't even matter anyway because you know what? If your music is good, your music is good, and you have a following, you don't need an accolade to tell you that you're good because a lot of these people that get these accolades aren't even good. So anyway, that's all I have to say. If you want a music revolution, be part of it. Spread the word of indie artists, indie radio, indie news, indie media, period. And that's all I have to say about that.